Will it blend? That is the question.
Do you remember these videos? The guy in the lab coat who used to put all kinds of ridiculous things in a blender? It's often considered to be one of the most successful marketing campaigns of all time, and because of its impact on the internet, it drastically changed the ways of YouTube and the course of its history. Today, we take a deep dive into the viral success of the Will It Blend videos and find out just how many blenders they sold because of them. Also, we'll discuss how it was started and why the company eventually stopped doing it.
Don't breathe this. That was one tough pad.
Before we get into everything about Blendtec, I feel like I need to provide a little bit of a backstory on Tom Dickson. This guy is a certified genius. He is the one responsible for the indestructible blenders, but he didn't start out that way. Ever since Tom was a young boy, he had a deep interest in building things with motors, making them bigger, better, and more efficient.
And I bought a lathe when I was in the 8th grade for $200. And I put it had a 1/4 horse motor on it. I put a 1 horsepower motor on it, and it was so heavy that I had to put it up against the wall so the whole lathe wouldn't fall over. It was that powerful.
He started out with go-karts, building the frames, hand painting them, and putting the biggest motors on them that he could find. Eventually, when he got a little older, he did something that was pretty incredible.
One summer, he bought an Austin Healey and decided to put a Corvette engine in it. And that thing just screamed. It was unbelievable. It would shut down any car on the street. It was so much horsepower, so little weight.
Even though Tom seemed to have a gift for creating things, he also had some challenges that impacted his learning, like ADHD and dyslexia. His school counselor actually laughed at him and said that there was no way that he could make it into college because of his bad marks in school. This made Tom very angry, and he took it as a challenge, because he knew that he was smart enough to get into college, and after high school, he graduated with a degree in manufacturing technology engineering, proving his school counselor wrong. After Tom graduated college, he started working for a startup out of Silicon Valley. One day, he went to vacuum up some wheat that he spilled on the floor and realized that when it went through the vacuum, it got grinded up and made flour. And this sparked an idea. He called it the kitchen mill. It was a device that replaced the existing stone grinder mills that people had been using for years to grind wheat. It used metal blades instead of stone, and it was faster and more efficient. At the time, this was a huge deal and sent quite a shockwave through the industry of kitchen appliances. Tom put a patent on his grinding technique, but that didn't stop his competitors from copying him. The company, Magic Mill, who produced the stone grinders prior to Tom's invention, eventually came up with their own wheat mill that was exactly the same as Tom's despite a few minor details. He sued them for patent infringement and he won. But that was only one of a number of legal battles that Tom faced, which almost made him go bankrupt more than once. And if that wasn't enough, he also got blindsided by an attorney who bought into his company and eventually acquired enough stock to become a majority shareholder without Tom knowing.
So one day he announced to me that he was taking control of the company, and that I better behave myself or I'd be out on the street. And so he fired me.
This guy literally had his own company stolen right out from under him. And that would probably make anyone want to quit, right? Well, not Tom. Instead, he bought up the rights to the Magic Mill company and changed the name to K-Tech. If that ain't a big boss move, I don't know what is. After that, Tom invented a bread mixer that would automatically shut off when the dough was ready. This was another game changer because there was no other bread maker like it at the time. It also had a blender attachment that could be used on it. He started selling these and did quite well for a while. But another problem came up. By the late 90s, there was less and less people making homemade bread. This caused the market for Tom's new product to fade, and he knew that he had to make a change if he wanted a chance at sustaining his company. Plus, people were using the blender attachment more than anything else on the product, so he began working on a standalone blender. Why blenders, you ask? Because that's where the market was heading, and Tom could see that. In the 90s, multiple smoothie chains started to pop up across America like Jamba Juice and Planet Smoothie. Tom knew that if he invented a blender that was superior to others, he could potentially partner with these smoothie companies and feed a massive market. This was the birth of Blendtec, and that's when things really started to change. But good marketing wasn't the only reason for this company's success. For years, the market for blenders was the same, and there wasn't a lot of new technology and innovation. The blenders were very cheaply made and easy to break, so Tom wanted to create something better. Everything from the motor to the shape of the container, Tom redesigned everything about the existing blender. This guy was so smart that he actually figured out that simply adding a fifth wall to the blender container drastically changed the way that it functioned. And I think this is just absolutely incredible. Take a look at this.
I'm here today to show you my latest invention. I call it the wild side jar because it has a fifth wall, and boy does it blend wild things.
Sometime in the early 2000s or mid-2000s, Tom invented what he calls the wild side jar. And the wild side jar is nothing more than a 5-sided jar instead of a 4-sided jar. And it's a significant change from the 4-sided jar in terms of the blendability of the product. I had a smoothie that I used to make for Jamba Juice with mangoes in it. Very, very difficult to blend. And it took about 45 seconds. You put it in this jar, and lo and behold, it made it in 14 seconds.
The fifth side, which by coincidence was tucked underneath the handle of the jar, tends to shift the vortex or the center of the movement of the smoothie or product in the jar off center from the axis of the blade.
It was a tremendous breakthrough. And as we started to look at it, all of a sudden this fifth side offset the vortex of the blending.
Now, he patented this design as well, but do patents stop other people from stealing your ideas? Fuck no. After Tom invented the wild side jar, Vitamix flat out copied his design and tried to make their own. It was so identical to Tom's that a Blendtec lid actually fit onto it. Tom sued them, and he won. Vitamix was ordered to pay Blendtec $24 million. Hopefully, they learned their lesson. But yeah, this guy is definitely a genius, and what he created is an absolutely amazing product. And the only thing that it needed was some good marketing. Alright, so this is where things start to get pretty interesting, because back then, nobody was talking about YouTube. If you wanted to sell a product like this, you used an infomercial. That's just how the times were, and Tom knew that he wanted to up the game on his marketing for this new blender, so he hired these guys. This is Kels Goodman, George Wright, and Ray Hansen, and without them, Will It Blend would have never happened. See, Blendtec did not have a large marketing budget at the time, so when they looked at the cost of an infomercial, it didn't really make sense for them to do it. Tom was very intrigued with the idea of one, but George and the other guys felt that there was a much better way to get a higher return on their investment, which is why Will It Blend would have never happened without them. Tom was the genius behind the product, but George and the other two guys were the masterminds of the marketing. They got the idea for the YouTube videos when they saw Tom using 2x4s to test his blenders. Because he always wanted to make an indestructible product, Tom would often test his inventions with things that would most likely destroy a regular blender. George saw him doing one of these tests and instantly knew that other people would want to see it too. This was the beginning of the amazing videos that we all came to know and love.
Hi, I'm Tom Dickson with Blendtec, and this is another one of our extreme tests that you don't want to try at home. And we're demonstrating our blender that is not your normal blender. Will it blend? That is the question. We're going to start here with one of our more higher profile.
No, Tom, just start over.
Now, as you can see, it was a little rough at the beginning, but as time went on, Tom became a natural at being on camera, and I don't think the videos would be what they are without his charisma.
I had a bad day on the links yesterday. These are bad balls. I had a tough time slicing, so I'm going to slice some balls.
We told Tom, hey, we want to do these videos, and he, okay, whatever. And I don't think he really knew what we were doing either, and so he was just being himself.
Got my new iPhone, so I'm not going to need the old one anymore. So I'm going to blend it. The new one is so cool. It's so much faster. It's going to keep me more organized. With all this technology, I won't forget anything. Now I'm going to blend my old phone. I think I'm going to press the smoothie button.
The first Will It Blend video was released in October of 2006, and in this video, Tom said something that would later become his signature line.
Don't breathe this.
Now, the funny thing about this is that Tom had just blended up some glass marbles, which create a dust that can actually give you silicosis if you inhale it. So him telling the others in the room not to breathe it in was actually a real safety precaution. The cameraman, Kels Goodman, thought it was funny, so he actually took the audio from the first episode and used it in the first 10 videos that they produced.
One, smoke an iPod. Don't breathe this. Don't breathe this. Don't breathe this. Don't breathe this.
He kept doing it, and eventually it became Tom's line that he used in every single episode. When the first Will It Blend video was uploaded, the only other social media platform other than YouTube at the time was MySpace. The team created a website where customers could buy the blenders that they planned to link at the end of every Will It Blend video. They didn't really know what they were doing because at the time, there was no one else doing what they were trying to do. For the first few days, the video really didn't get much traction. Then Ray decided to post a link on a website called dig.com. which was pretty much like the hub for all things popular on the internet back in the day. After he posted it, he started to notice that it was getting 50 new views every minute. Within a few hours, the marbles video had raked in over 50,000 views, which was a big deal at the time. And you gotta keep in mind, this was in the early days of YouTube, when all it was known for was funny cat videos. There was no YouTube celebrities like there is now. Ray actually thought that the views on the video weren't real and there was some type of glitch going on. But they were definitely real. And one thing that Ray didn't know is that they had just launched what would become one of the most viral marketing campaigns in the history of the internet. After only a week of uploading videos, Blendtec was asked to appear on The Today Show, The Food Network, and The Tonight Show. Tom quickly saw massive waves of success, and the company really began to skyrocket. While he was doing talk shows, the rest of the guys were constantly looking for more ridiculous stuff to put into a blender. Ray Hansen actually said that he thought he was going to die the day that they decided to blend up 20 lighters. Another one that they did that was absolutely hilarious was the video camera, and that's because they tried to return it to Best Buy after they blended it. I had to do some digging to find this video, but I did find it, and you gotta see this.
Hi, got a return to make.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know a ton about cameras, but this just seems to be kind of poorly made.
Okay. Is there something? Is that what you got when you bought it?
No. I got it, it was all in one piece. I tripped, and it fell into a blender.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I mean, it just, there's nothing left.
Okay, he tripped and fell and it splattered into the
No, it fell into a blender.
Oh, the only problem is that's considered customer use. We can't return that. Like, that's not something we can return.
But it was accidental.
Well, do you have the accidental service plan on it?
I don't think so.
That doesn't matter.
But I mean, I can't even use it, like it's just completely in a million pieces.
And I understand that, but it's not something we can return.
Is there like a manager that might be able to do anything?
He's gonna tell you the same thing, but I can get a manager if you want.
Okay. How you doing? Hey, well, they tell me there's nothing you can do for me.
What's that?
It's a video camera. Fell into a blender, and it's in a million pieces now.
Did you get the accidental plan on it?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
There is probably nothing we can do for you. That had to fall into a blender.
I tripped, and it just fell.
It was one powerful blender.
Yeah, well, or a poorly made camera, one of the two. I don't
What type of blender was it?
It's a Blendtec blender.
Is it what?
It's a Blendtec blender.
Just a regular household blender?
Yeah.
I don't think the blender would do that much damage to it that soon. How long was it in there for?
Well, I couldn't stop it, so it was probably in there for a minute.
I don't even think the accidental would do that. They'd probably consider that abuse when they'd send that in.
Well, I mean, it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. I can't even use it now.
No.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
In 2006, everyone wanted an iPod, so they decided to blend one up. Their views instantly shot up into the millions, and all of a sudden, everyone and their dog was talking about Will It Blend.
Blendtec is posting unique videos on YouTube online. Now millions are logging on in laughter and disbelief.
Now welcome back over to the .com cafe where Natalie's wandered over to get a close view of this as well.
Yeah, I may need some safety goggles, and I noticed we only have one pair.
And these are some kind of protective glass as well. Yeah. This is Tom, the inventor of the mighty Blendtec blender. And George, you know what you're like? What do you like?
After they destroyed some Apple products and gained more popularity, marketing experts started talking about the Will It Blend series in the news, questioning whether or not it was a sustainable marketing strategy. And obviously it was.
There's a company called Blendtec. They make blenders. I knew nothing about them, but they've started doing a website called Will It Blend. This is brilliant. There's a guy in a lab coat with glasses asking Will It Blend, and he's blending a crowbar, an iPod, an entire McDonald's Happy Meal. Now, if this isn't your idea of entertainment, well,
Wait,
you and
but
I
John,
disagree on
I've
that.
watched that on the web so many times, and I've never seen the Blendtec name. I mean, I had no idea what it's for. I watched them mix up the iPod. I mean, isn't that the point, that we're supposed to buy the
name
product?
is all over it. I mean, actually, no, like Blendtec, that's a blender. I mean, you know, they've achieved the basic purpose. I now know what it is. And more importantly, this is something I actually want to watch. I mean, I actually want to watch them, you know, try to grind
There's
up
the
like...
one spot where you see the name of the blender. That's it, and it's way into the ad. I don't know.
Blendtec everywhere.
Rance, what do you think? Let's get to why you think John is full of it.
Well, you know, John used to be a great reporter on that age. He's gone on to bigger and better things now. But the reason why I differ with John respectfully is that, you know, that's a lot of work to sell a blender. Why can't you take a page ad in the local newspaper and say blenders for sale, and if you want to buy a blender, there it is?
Because times were changing, and strategies like this were becoming old and outdated. George knew that, and that's one reason why they became so successful. He caught a trend early, like really early, and the results of that are almost unbelievable.
I gotta do it, man.
Dude. What are you doing? Huel. Hey, quit screwing around. We are here to do a job, not channel Scrooge McDuck.
One thing that I really wanted to find out was, just how many blenders did they sell from these videos? I did some digging around, and it's hard to find an exact number because they made the videos for so many years. But I did find one clip from January of 2009 when Will It Blend was arguably at its peak. And Tom said this.
So a lot of times marketers and PR people say, you know, getting headlines is great, but what does it do for your business?
Our sales are up 700% since we started this Will It Blend campaign.
700%. Their sales went up 700% in just over 3 years. This means if they were selling a $400 blender and they were already selling, let's just make it easy and say 500 blenders per month, they would have gone from that to 3,500 blenders sold per month. At $400 a blender, that's $1.4 million a month in sales, just from uploading 2-minute YouTube videos. And that's a low estimation. It very well could have been a lot more with the amount of views that they raked in. And one of the craziest parts is, before 2009, there was no paid advertising on YouTube. So they spent almost no money to 7x their sales, which is pretty much unheard of in today's online market. When Blendtec made their first blender, smoothie chains like Jamba Juice and Planet Smoothie were eager to try them, but they didn't have enough money to fully pay for the blenders. So Tom worked out a deal where they gave him 5 cents for every blend that they did. They got up to 50 million smoothies per year, and that's $2.5 million of pretty much straight profit to Blendtec. And that's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. But because they are still a private company, there isn't a valuation listed anywhere online. But I did find the video of when Tom was on The View showing off his blender, and one of the hosts of the show said this.
Oh my goodness! No wonder your company is worth $300 million.
$300 million. This guy built a damn blender company that's worth $300 million. Pretty amazing for a kid who was told that he would never go to college, right? By mid-2009, Will It Blend had gained so much popularity that George and the team were getting calls from other massive companies asking them for advice on their own marketing campaigns. And I mean, like, this is how you know you've officially made it. Brands like Nike and Olympus started asking them to blend their products so that they could get them in front of the millions of eyes that Will It Blend had attracted. And this was pretty much the first time that brands started to partner with YouTube creators. In 2009, the YouTube ads program was still fairly new, so they didn't have a whole lot of advertisers at the time. And there definitely wasn't any sponsored videos like you see nowadays. Will It Blend was basically a pioneer for marketing on YouTube. When people started to see how lucrative it was to sell products on there because of what they did, companies started to flock to the platform. Just 1 year after they started Will It Blend on YouTube, it was one of the fastest growing websites on the internet and the 4th most accessed site in the United States. Now, I know that Will It Blend aren't the only ones responsible for the rapid growth of the platform, but I do believe that they played a major role in it.
You know, viral marketing really didn't exist at that time. I mean, it did, but not to the definition of what we know viral marketing to be today. And I think that we kind of helped shape that and bring it to what we know viral marketing to be today. We definitely played a part also in what is now kind of this, there's this whole YouTube celebrity arena where people are making a living off of just putting videos on YouTube. That wasn't there when we started, but I do think that we kind of helped bring that along with the success that we had.
Like I said earlier in the video, YouTube was a place for cat videos and home movies before they started Will It Blend. No one had really seen anything like it before. And when you look at it that way, it's hard to doubt that these guys pretty much changed the course of YouTube, its history, and the whole world of internet marketing, which is pretty damn incredible. When it comes to a good marketing campaign, there's a lot of different things that can depend on its success. There's no doubt that the deck was stacked in their favor when they did these videos. Catching a trend early like this is one of the best things that you can do, but I don't think that's the only reason why they became wildly successful. See, Tom wasn't just a CEO. He was a passionate entrepreneur who was dedicated to creating a superior product. He didn't cut corners, lie, or try to cheat his way to the top. He was 100% authentic all of the time, and I think people could see that. But a good product was only a small piece of the puzzle. The charisma that Tom had in every video always had people coming back to watch more. He was funny, witty, and entertaining. The whole team was just so passionate about their jobs, and they did things that other companies really don't do now. Like when they tried to return the blended up camera to Best Buy. The thing with these guys is that they weren't producing content as advertisements to interrupt people's viewing like a commercial. They were producing content that was selling things to people, but it was also entertaining enough to make people want to watch it on a regular basis. And that, my friends, takes some serious f***ing skill. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would you stop doing something that's making you $16 million per year? Well, I had the same question. So, naturally, I went deeper down the rabbit hole. And what I found may be a little bit underwhelming. No, they didn't have some massive blender explosion that killed a bunch of their employees and made them have to shut down. Although, that would be a pretty insane story. I believe what happened was the marketing campaign had kind of just ran its course. No good thing lasts forever, and George and the team knew that. They stopped making the videos 4 years ago in November of 2020, with car key fobs being their last upload. I did find this comment on a video on Kels Goodman's YouTube channel, and this person said this: "Is Will It Blend ever coming back? Also, how come Tom didn't make at least 15,000 videos?" I don't know where he got this number, but Kels Goodman replied with, "I doubt it will ever come back. Tom was focused on selling blenders and I left the company." And then he actually replied twice, 1 year ago and 6 months ago, and he said why. And unfortunately, Kels Goodman didn't reply to him, but this person said it was time for Kels to move on with his life. And I think that's pretty much what happened. They all got older and kind of just moved on with their lives. I mean, they did make the videos for almost 15 years, which is funny because Kels Goodman said that when he took the job, he thought it was only going to be a year or two at max.
I thought, okay, a blender company, how much work could we do filming blenders? This will be a job that lasts a couple of years at max.
Crazy how things can work out sometimes. I did also find that Tom actually stepped down as CEO of Blendtec in 2013. So my guess is that they have established enough credibility within the market to keep consistently selling blenders without having to make the videos. Plus, both Planet Smoothie and Jamba Juice still use Blendtec blenders, and they are one of the 2 largest smoothie chains in the United States. So with that, they probably have no problems keeping their revenue up. But there's no doubt that what these guys did was absolutely remarkable. Changing the course of history is not an easy thing to do, and one of the best parts is, they didn't even know that they were doing it. As of recording this video, Will It Blend has amassed over 294 million views on YouTube, and unfortunately, we'll probably never see it return or anything like it again. Let me know down in the comments, which one was your favorite? And we can't be sad because it's over. We have to smile because it happened.